Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Tokyo. This is April 17th, 2020. And what do you guys think of my new mask here? This is a gift, from my friend Mika. This is called Mika no Mask. Thank you so much, Mika, for this really lovely mask. This comes from Mika, Miyu, Haruka, and Hikari, my friends in Totori Prefecture. Thank you so much. I love the pattern on it. Do you see? Oh, it's upside down. It's upside down. Hold on. There you go. That's Mount Fuji. And they also sent Kanai this really pretty one. Look at this. So you can make your own mask, everybody. They work pretty good. How's everybody doing? Welcome. So I want to give you an update. It's been about a week since the last travel update. What's happening here in Japan? Yesterday, Prime Minister Abe gave an announcement declaring a state of emergency, not just for the 7 prefectures, but now all the country, especially for 6 other prefectures that have been showing an increase in this virus. It's such an awful thing right now. Japan is undergoing infections very quickly right now, kind of behind, like about a month behind New York, Tokyo is. So we're all pretty like crossing our fingers and staying home that it doesn't get to the same level as our friends over across the Pacific. Currently, Japan has 9,297 infections as of April 17th. That's today. 1,563 people have recovered and left the hospital. Very good news. About half that are the people from the cruise ship from a couple of months ago, which seems like an eternity ago, doesn't it? The Diamond Princess. So last night, just to reiterate, Prime Minister Abe declared a state of emergency nationwide. It's going to be in effect until May 6th, and that's pretty significant because that's when Golden Week would have ended. Every year between April 29th and around May 5th, May 6th, the entire country pretty much goes on vacation. All of the office workers, all of the staff here in Tokyo will go back to their hometowns. Not everybody's from Tokyo. Kanai is. Not everybody is. So they would go back, taking the trains, highways are packed. Shinkansen have lines going out the door waiting for the next one. The frequency is like every 10 minutes a Shinkansen is leaving. It's an amazing migration of people going back all over the country. And obviously Prime Minister Abe and the central government said that if we're going to be doing a nationwide shutdown or state of emergency, we're going to have to do it now. And they did. Yesterday, it just made sense. This was largely welcomed by all of the governors, and everybody in the country thought that Prime Minister Abe looked really good and strong, very decisive in his actions. So it was a good moment last night to see that, to feel like we are taking the right steps now. In hindsight, we wish it could have been a lot faster, but I'm glad it is now than later. Let's just keep it. We always try to stay positive. So we can what can we expect for the next 3 weeks? Hopefully more people will be staying off of public transportation. We have seen not a lot of people stopping jobs because there's no law in place to enforce people not to go to work. And you would think, in any other country that this would be a reason not to go to work, but for a lot of people in Japan, they need to physically be like locked in their rooms in order not to get onto a subway to go to the office. There's been a decrease in rider commuting about 30%, but that is far from what's necessary to really make a dent in stopping the spread of this. Hopefully, after yesterday's speech this morning, we didn't see as many people out commuting, and it is decreasing over time. Offices are asking to close, but there's no penalty to do that, just like in other countries where there's fines and criminal proceedings and stuff. It's like basically it's society saying don't do it, and people are following the rules. At least we're doing our best to do that here. If they don't, then the laws change. So Japan is a very reactive country based on the people breaking what we ask them. If they break it, then harsher laws come into effect. There's so much news. There's so much news to get to. I know that most of you are watching are also in self-isolation or can't go out. I know that New York has been extended to May 15th, the shutdown. Japan made until May 6th and possibly extended even further. I know that London is shut down now for what seems like over a month. So we all have to keep a very positive mental attitude. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'm still seeing a lot of YouTubers going outside. I'm trying my best not to do that, although this part of the hay fever is really bad in Tokyo. This part of my brain is like, there's not a lot of people outside. It's probably okay to go out there and do some live streams. And then this part of the brain says, that's not what is the responsible thing to do. Stay inside, do your best to create inside of this bubble that you call a house. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I really appreciate all of your support out there. On April 7th, Prime Minister Abe shut down 7 prefectures, basically calling a state of emergency, which doesn't really have a bite, but it has a very strong bark to it. Yesterday, we saw he reported that there were 6 prefectures that saw a very rapid increase in the cases. Hokkaido is going through a second wave right now. Hokkaido Ibaraki Prefecture, which didn't have any infections for the longest time and now is really starting to spread up there. Ibaraki is just north of Tokyo. Ishikawa Prefecture, where Kanazawa is, Gifu Prefecture, which is not that far from Aichi Prefecture, which is where Nagoya is, and Kyoto. Those prefectures have seen some escalation over the last 10 days since the last state of emergency was called, and the Prime Minister shouted out, gave those 6 prefectures some notice, just so people know that it's really starting to spike over there. The original 7 were Tokyo, Kanagawa, Saitama, Chiba, Osaka, Hyogo, which is where Kobe is, and Fukuoka. So there are 13 prefectures where we're starting to see a lot of movement. Iwate Prefecture is the only prefecture in Japan without a case, but that is dependent on the testing. Now, this has been the greatest criticism of Japan and the government. There's just not a lot of testing going on. Today in the news, we saw some movement finally that people are starting to be able to get tested more freely. The law was, I wouldn't say the law, but the policy was that if you didn't have a fever for 4 days and you did not know who you might have gotten it from, and you can't identify it to a cluster that was already identified, they would not test you. And I have friends that have had fevers for more than 4 days and cannot get tested anywhere. In fact, if you call, you have to play a game of phone tag, getting from one place to the next place to the next place, and it's just so much of a headache that people who need to be tested are not. So they don't know if they have it, and they don't know if they can go back and release into their family, but then the family gets it, and then it's a whole really big nightmare. Just yesterday, there was a hospital that said, I'm laughing because it's so bad, a hospital that reported that they had tested somebody negative, and they found out that he was positive, and they made a mistake, and he went back and infected his family. So these things are, the government is getting a handle on it. It just takes time. Government is not effective in handling, that's a big crow, in handling these kinds of situations. It requires momentum building, and it takes a long time before that locomotive can start to move. Just wish we started to move it a little bit earlier, but let's stay positive. I want to get into what now. A lot of you have I know that was Toby. I'm telling you, I'm kind of going in a downward angle so you can see the crows going by. I think they're scouting left and right for food. I'm going to go in and take some of your questions at the end, but I want to go over what now. When can you maybe start to plan your trip to Japan? I'm getting more and more people asking. I want to show you right now the situation in Japan. I get a lot of my information from NHK World and Kyoto News. So I'm going to show you in a second this really well done time lapse that they're doing on Kyoto News, which is one of the big English news websites. They're mostly Japanese, but they have an English website which is very well done. Check this out here. You can see how the infections have gone over the last, this is going to reset. It's like an animated GIF. You can see in March, Hokkaido was the worst affected, and you can see Aichi, Nagoya, up there coming in Osaka, they were all above Tokyo, and watch Tokyo just start to spike around the start right around here. Look at that. This is what we're talking about when we say that Tokyo might be another New York City. We're really worried about that here. April 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It's March. Okay. So it's a pretty cool graph. They're updating this every couple of days, so there's 2 days behind. I don't know. Our lifestyle here in Japan has been tough because we almost not go out every other day. Like, we don't even go out for a walk. If we do go out for a walk, there's just too many people outside in Tokyo, especially along the river. Kids are still playing on playgrounds. Starting to shut those down and putting tape around them saying, please don't go to play in playgrounds. Families are still out walking, but there's too many people having picnics. Too many people meeting people from other families. It's such a bad shutdown with a lot of unknown information that we're just afraid to go out because no one was socially distancing. Over the last week, we've seen supermarkets start to put vinyl sheets in front of the registers. We've started to see suggested spacing on the floors inside of supermarkets so people know to stand about a meter or two. Just earlier this week on Monday when we went to go to our weekly shopping run, I told the lady who was coming up close to me, I told her please to separate and let's do some spacing. She says, I don't know if you're sick and you don't know if I'm sick, so let's do some spacing. She goes, and then she did apart. People just don't have the mindset. This is Tokyo where it's rude to give spacing, all right? This is a city that's so jam-packed, it's rude to give spacing because then you're in somebody's way. And it takes some time to change people's mindsets in the city, but if I wish we'd started this a little bit earlier, and instead of saying please stay inside, they were also saying if you go outside, please socially distance, or physically distance is probably a better way to say this. Tokyo is struggling with that, and this is why I think we're starting to see cases increase. And when can you come back to travel? I think I'm getting a lot of messages. I get hundreds every day on every single social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, of course, Patreon, Discord. A lot of people have trips coming up in June. I would say that May is not going to be possible to come here to Japan because most of the attractions have changed their closing dates until around May 17th. And this includes Tokyo Disneyland. Tokyo Disneyland has no plans to open at all right now. There's no plan to open. They haven't made the determination, and they won't make any announcements until they're pretty sure now. And I think that's the responsible thing to do. So if you do come to Japan and you do still come in June, there's really not a lot to do except for maybe hiking and staying in the countryside. You don't want to come to Tokyo at all. But you can't even come to Japan anyways. Because according to JNTO, the Japanese National Tourist Organization, and I highly recommend you go to their website. I'll put a link in the description after this live stream. Nearly everyone is banned from entry right now. Like, if you did come somehow, you managed to get on the plane, you would not be allowed in. And Japanese that are returning to Japan now, they have to go through a 14-day quarantine, and they're not sending people to hotels anymore, which was sort of like really a nice way to do it. Please, on your own, go carefully. Don't take public. They just told you, but they didn't enforce it. Now they have cardboard box compartments in Narita Airport's luggage terminal where you pick up your luggage, your checked-in luggage. They've turned that into almost like a refugee center for returnees to quarantine for 2 weeks. They look pretty comfortable, actually. It looks like something from Mujirushi that you could say has some sort of style to it. I don't know, just like this mask that we have. But it's a really nice mask. Look at this. Mika, this is Mika no mask. I'm really happy about this. Thank you so much, Mika. You can make these at home with material that you have. Just have a double ply, one that is more absorbent on the inside. You can wash these. That's so great. So hopefully that people who are stranded at Narita Airport have a good story to tell afterwards. Because if you do, I want to talk to you. We could do an interview with you here. I'd love to hear about your experience. As you can tell, Kanai and I are trying to stay really positive. It's hard, of course, being in self-isolation, but again, like mentally, you have to really stay positive out there. We know how tough it is for everybody. It's not just you out there. That's another reason why I do these live streams. You're not the only one out there who is stuck at home. We are too. And although there's no police officer with a ticket waiting to write us one if we do go outside. We just choose to do that because this is the responsible thing to do. It's a societal decision, and it's not about us getting it. It's about us getting it and clogging up the medical system, and we just don't want to get it too. But we don't want to do it for society. Right now, the hospitals are in a tough situation. More about that in a minute. And once again, the attractions are closed until May 17th. It looks like it could be extended further. And this is also, before you start making plans for the 2021 Olympics, we're not really 100% sure that things won't be changed again. And I want to point that out. Another viewer had said that this is something that we should consider. The dates have been moved 1 year exactly. Against my recommendation was to hold an April Olympics, which would have been the best ever. This would have been a tremendous, as President Trump would say, this would have been tremendous for the entire world to have a spring Olympics. But then again, I could see why they would want to delay it even further because we're just not sure. But that doesn't mean that the Summer Olympics are still going to be held on that date. There's possibilities it could be moved over depending on a lot of things like the vaccine. So we will see. Yeah. I would say, oh gosh, there's so many people who had to cancel their trips, and the updates that I did I started doing these updates January 29th or January 30th when the first person was infected in Japan, and we could see this wave coming. I started to do updates. In Ikebukuro, I went and gave an update. I also went to Shimbashi and gave an update, and I was the only one out there that was really wearing a mask. I wasn't really wearing a mask, but I was very worried about this for a long, long time. And now we're at this point, a lot of people had to cancel, and be thankful that you did cancel, because right now Japanese tourism is down to the lowest point it's been in a decade. 93% reduction. So I don't even know where those 7% are probably stranded tourists, but 93% reduction in tourism in the month of April, and from March to April in the last month, 93%. There's not a lot for you to do here. June is going to be pushing it. I know that there's a push to reopen the economy, and none of these countries can stay closed for a very long time, despite the health risks. We just have to get through this first wave and flatten the curve. But the economies also cannot manage not opening. Right now, I have a box right here. You see that right there? This is Sascha. This is your box here from Ireland. Was returned to me. I had a package from Australia returned to me, which couldn't go out because Australia had closed the borders. That can't continue for too long, because if commerce ends, then the economies will start to decline. So I figured that this is a first wave thing, and maybe the end of June might be the absolute earliest, but I believe quarantine will still be in effect. That means if you do decide to come to Japan, it better be a long-term plan, like for 3 months or more, because if you do come in, you're going to have to spend the first 2 weeks doing nothing. And then probably when you go back home, another 2 weeks doing nothing. So if you can work remotely, this is ideal. You could even work for 2 weeks inside of Narita Airport. I think by June they'll have a... Did you see that crow just go by? It's a big one. I think that's the same one. He's doing circles looking for food. Doors open. Yeah. For me personally, if you ask me, I'm telling people, the earliest that I would return and start to travel would be autumn. international travel would be autumn. And I'm not talking about October either. I'm talking like November. And that's when the normal flu season starts to spread too. So the responsible thing would be to start looking at 2021 as a date for you to return to Japan or to come to Japan for your vacation. Or if you have an open ticket that you can change, 2021 seems like it's going to be the year. 2021 is going to be the 2020 that we all hoped it would be. All right? Because I had massive plans for 2020. Oh, yeah. I can't even go outside to make the show anymore. I have to be here and come up with ideas within the box. So, yeah. We're all kind of struggling here. Again, the decision to close down the country nationwide came just because of the Golden Week holiday, because people had to travel. And I think this is the right call, and I'm very much welcome it. I'm going to go turn to your questions now and also mention some of the stuff that I also have in these notes. I take notes throughout the week, and I watch the TV news. Hirobi is a show that I've appeared on as a guest for, I don't know, it's about 10 or 12 times. I've gone into the studio or been interviewed for that show about inbound tourism, and I'm really proud to be part of that crew over there. And right now they're actually, the guests aren't even coming into the TV studio anymore. After some TV personalities came down with coronavirus, they're staying inside their houses. They're staying inside, and the TV cameras are bringing in monitors. They're like 8K monitors. It looks like they're actually in the studio, like in a box. It's pretty amazing, the technology Japan has. But I will take your questions right now. We'll start with the people who... I do appreciate you guys tuning in to watch this. It's a beautiful sunny day that I can't go outside and enjoy here in Tokyo. John Wakamatsu is here. Tony P. Nice to see you. Jeff B. Hi, John and Kanai. Keep up the excellent work and content. Michael Sasano. More Okane for Asahi Beer Fund. I should go get one, but it's slightly too early. Richard writes in here, keep yourselves safe. Thank you, Richard. And Pinku Hoshi, I have 2 tickets to Japan in September. I can't get a refund. Pinku Hoshi, I would recommend that you just wait. If you can't go in September, and that's kind of on the fringe for me. I think there's going to be a second wave. This is my feeling, okay? It's going to go down, then you will see the decline, and the economy will start up, and there's going to be a second wave that won't be as big as the first wave. There almost always is. And that's going to probably be in the summer, and September might be a little bit early, but if international travel is banned and canceled and flights are canceled, then you can't come anyways. So they're going to have to refund your money. I told people in March who were quite worried and wanted to cancel, just wait, and naturally they're going to have to refund your money because they're going to have to cancel the flights, and sure enough that they did. I think everybody who had this anxiety about not being able to get money refunded for hotels and whatnot were eventually refunded because the government had shut down, or airlines had shut themselves down. And when that happens, they have no choice, but they have to refund your money because they can't provide the services, right? So I think just wait, Pinko Hoshi, and I believe when summer comes around, you'll probably be able to get refunds. I also see a lot of really good travel deals coming in the fall. Tony P, looks like I will start planning my trip for next spring. It's probably safest. I wish I had flying out there this Sunday. I know, Tony, I know. Stay safe, John and Kanai. I know, it would be great to see so many of you. I wanted to have rent a riverboat and do a meetup with everybody on the riverboat, but that's also one of the cluster points where you can't go out. And of course, we had to cancel that. That's a shame because I wanted to throw business. We're definitely going to do this next spring, though. Definitely if we can, because I want to throw some work and throw some business to the riverboat people, because they've lost a lot of business over the last 2 months, and it's just going to get worse. I don't know if a lot of them are going to stay in business because a year's a long time to wait. But spring looks good, Tony, for a return. Chris, we'll have our own Olympics. Chris Dickerson writes in here, we love all the mods. Yes, so do I. Thank you, mods. Remco S, you shot enough to edit into episodes. Yes, I did shoot a lot when I was in Hokkaido and whatnot. It's going to be going on a new channel. So more on that next week. Sweet Hightower, thank you so much. I love these animated emojis. You gotta fight it out. And Rose Trin writes in from Singapore, for you. Thank you. I'm gonna get myself a coffee with that. And by get myself a coffee, I'll probably just go make it. However, I did get in this box, and in this box over here, I did get a package. We can do a package unboxing. I got something from Amazon, and we're getting a lot of deliveries. We bring the boxes outside here. We let it sit for a day if we can, and then we wash down the boxes and open it because you just can't be safe enough. I know it's like, it seems like an overkill, too much, but what we learned was that creating habits and taking it a little bit further than normal is what will keep you safe for now. Your hair looks good today. I bought a set of clippers, Panasonic clippers, and every day I look at it and go, is today the day to shave this down? And the answer is I'm not sure. I cannot comb it. It doesn't stay combed. It just turns into a frizzy mess. So I might live stream a razor haircut. Kanai is itching to go. Kanai, you want to do it, don't you? Yeah, she wants to do it. I don't want her to do it, but she's got that razor fever. Because this is like a grassy knoll that you can just shave down. She's so excited about that. It might give us something to look forward to, if anything. So we might stream the thing. But all right, the live streams, just for FYI, after the live stream, it's gonna take about 12 hours before you can see it due to a bug in YouTube. So I really apologize for that in advance. Only about 5 hours ago could you see the live stream that we did with the freeze-dried food, which was incredible. Yeah. So let's go back to your questions here about traveling to Japan. Get away from my hair. Let's see, what do you have here? Shoot me anything. Sanitizers. Great story. Great story about alcohol and hand sanitizers. Thanks for bringing that up, guys. So all of we have a lack of alcohol available anywhere. There's nothing to be able to sanitize the house, your hands. It's sort of all run out. So Suntory and a lot of sake makers, and Japan is filled with hundreds, maybe thousands of sake makers all across Japan, are starting to move away from making Japanese sake and moving into high alcohol products for sanitation. This is a great story that I really love. A sake brewery in Kochi Prefecture down in Shikoku started to make high alcohol sake, 77% alcohol, to ferment this, and they had 10,000 orders in the first day. Many of them coming from hospitals and institutions that just need alcohol. So you can see them ramping up production and on it writing 77 because it's 77% alcohol. The biggest problem that Japan has with making its own alcohol is that alcohol is made, high alcohol stuff is made from glucose, so it requires a lot of sugar to make high alcohol, and Japan doesn't have that. Usually it's imported from Brazil's sugarcane or American high fructose corn syrup, stock from the United States. Japan doesn't have that domestically, so we need to get that sugar sweetener in order to create enough alcohol. There's just not enough domestically since there's a worldwide desire for glucose. In fact, if you have money, invest it in alcohol-making companies, not in gasoline, okay? Because I bet you the gas prices are going to go down, and ethanol, alcohol, and other alcohols to make disinfectant are going to be skyrocketing. Just like Fujifilm, Toyama Chemicals, Avigon, stock, that's the one to pick. But it's nice to see that Japanese sake makers are starting to step up, and everyone is getting to work to try to find ways to get through this. And alcohol is something we're all going to need for the family. The family outside Japan, collab with Mike Chen, Jason writes in. Mike's doing okay. I think he has a bunker somewhere. We talked about it. He's a good friend, a very good guy. And I know he's going to be just fine. He's got himself. I'm always here. Probably he'll be back in 2021. But we were both pretty worried about this in February before he left to go back to the U.S. And I'm sure we'll be working together again with a lot of other YouTubers that are going to come to collaborate in 2021 Probably. I'm gonna be here though. I'll be here, but we're not meeting anybody. That's another thing. I'm not meeting up with other people now. I think I mentioned this a little bit. Like other families in Japan are meeting up with other families and having picnics and stuff. And this is the one thing that you should not be doing. And I know the government says no groups of 10 or less. Don't even meet anybody outside of your family household, because one person has it, you spread it to your whole family household. So despite the desire to do this, I think a month is not a long time for you to wait to meet your buddies and go drinking. And if anything, we can order alcohol on Amazon. I don't know, a lot of the countries can't do that, but you can do a FaceTime call and have a drink with your buddies then, and then do picture-in-picture and watch a movie together or something. I don't know, but try to come up with creative ways not to meet other people's families or other people just because it increases the risk. The Japanese government says you should try to reduce the encounters you have with people down to 80, reduce it by 80%, and that'll help the country a lot. I say reduce it by 100%, just don't meet anybody. If you gotta go out to the supermarket, do it and come home. Get delivery if you can. We're doing our best to try to maintain that distancing. A Skype party is great. A Zoom party, which is another platform that we've all been learning about, is really great. FaceTime. There's a bunch of other platforms that you can use to hang out. Google Hangout. But I think if you get in the habit and you realize how important that this is, to just stay inside and not meet up with your buddies or your friends, or even if you're like meeting up with another mother so your kids can play together. I know you want to do that, but in Japan they're doing that, and the infection rates are skyrocketing. So let's just keep it in perspective. You know what I mean? We can wait a month. I can wait a month. I'm aging rapidly, but I'll be okay. What foods do you miss the most that you can't get delivered? And we're gonna cut down on the pizza too, because Kanai said we never eat pizza. Sushi is the biggest thing that we miss, because but we can get that delivered, and we're gonna try next week to get sushi delivery. But we miss sushi. We miss going out and just having a normal life, going out on date night. Our anniversary, our 3-year anniversary, 2018. 3-year anniversary is coming on April 21st. I can't take Kanai out. So I asked our Patreon community what some ideas that they had, and one of them was to maybe get flowers delivered, but I'm gonna go out. There's a couple of butcher shops here, and if they're still open, I want to support the local butchers and get a really nice piece of Wagyu, like a really expensive cut of Wagyu, maybe a tenderloin or something. And we have a yakinik, that gas stove that I showed you, and I'm gonna create this balcony that I have with Christmas lights and see if we can have a nice night of it. I think that'd be pretty cool. I might live stream that just to bring you in here, because if anything, at least our Patreon supporters, because it's meant the world to us. That you guys are still supporting us despite the fact that we can't go outside and make the content that you want, but that I want too. I'm with you there, but we can make this. If you have to stay in, I have to stay in, and then we're gonna do it like this. But I can go out to the supermarket or to the store, to the butcher stores, and get the ingredients to make a nice dinner. We have an Instapot sent to us by Katayama for our wedding gift, and we're going to be using that next week, looking at restaurant recipes for that. We've been afraid to use it because it has 3 prongs, and Japan has 2 prongs, and the US ones have 3 prongs. So I gotta get a converter or cut that off. But we're really excited about using that a little bit more. Yeah. A couple more questions here. I know that this is, I want to address the questions that you have with traveling to Japan. Instapot sounds like a social network. It does in a way. It does in a way. And we're going to try to make some Instapot recipes if we can. Jeff Ang, here's something for you. And thank you so much. I'm going to be using this towards the steak now. Joker Man, has the grocery store been busy lately? Joker Man, I actually put pictures on Instagram stories about 4 days ago, the last time I went to the supermarket. You can see that there are times when they're not busy, like right now, in the middle of the afternoon. In the morning, all the older people go there, and then it's so crowded with people who move really slowly, and you got to go around them. And then after they go home, there's kind of a period where it's very quiet, and then around 4:30, 5 o'clock, people go out to shop. In Tokyo, we always live kind of close to a supermarket where we don't need a big refrigerator, but we bought one because we need a big refrigerator. Thanks for the question. I was thinking of maybe doing a live stream in the supermarket, but to be honest with you, I don't think that we should publicize going out, and even out of curiosity or for content. I know that we all the YouTubers need to make content. I think Kanai and I had this decision. I think it's kind of for us, it's not responsible to be going outside and making like, I wanted to rent a car and do this too, but we said that, look, the rent-a-cars are being used for people at the airport that can't take public transportation to go to the hospital. They're using rent-a-cars now, and basically we just don't want to promote traveling around anywhere. Again, all non-essential travel means don't make YouTube videos outside too. That's just kind of the decision that we came up with, and I completely support that. Of course I wanted to, but Kanai is the smarter one of the two of us. Logan Jensen Miles. NZ has been informed. New Zealand has been locked down for 4 weeks, but we had 8 new cases. I'm hoping to go in September. New Zealand is a place that I think they're being really smart. The mail is shut down. Everything is shut down. They're not allowing anything into the country in New Zealand, and we're seeing the results. Not a lot of cases, although there are new cases. But it's an island just like Japan. But unlike Japan, New Zealand shut down fast. I think that's a really good thing. Thanks, Logan Jen Smiles, for sharing that. I wish all of you guys were here in Japan, but it looks like it's going to be fall is the earliest. Miss Unlikely Gamer writes in, you just got the Hitchhiking Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray, not a DVD. It looks really good on the big screen TVs. I sent them out to Patreon supporters. I'm really glad that they started to arrive. I stopped because they're not arriving quickly enough, so maybe I'll release the remaining ones to the general public sometime at the end of the summer when the mail is working better. What's a DVD? OCD stick. You know what it is. If you have the ability to write, you know what it is. Elliot L., your biggest fan. Thank you, Elliot. Can't wait to be a patron. Thank you so much. It does make a difference. I do want to announce, and this isn't the official announcement yet. I'm going to be starting up. Patreon is the main place where you could support us if you choose to do that. But we have the ability, because I can't send packages, and I'm quite uncertain about that, and a lot of people can't support on Patreon for one reason or another. We're going to be starting the sponsor button within this channel here. So that means I'm going to unleash some emoji, some new only in Japan emoji next week. So I'm going to price this so it doesn't cannibalize. That means if you are supporting on Patreon as a Samurai supporter over there, you're still going to have the same perks that somebody who's supporting on YouTube. So I don't want it to be a reason where you have to pick one or the other. I want to make it so that you're going to be happy wherever you support. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to add more, to give less to one side. I'll make another video to explain it, but the support is super appreciated. I got something that I want to unbox with you guys. I don't know what this is, but I just got it from Amazon and we wiped down the box. Oh, I know what this is. Okay. I've been looking to order a Nintendo Switch, but they're not available for sale in Japan unless you pay double the price. So those of you who are playing Animal Crossing without me, how dare you? Okay, let's open this up here. What could it be? Once again, I have to order stuff off of mail order. Is this what I think it is? Oh, this is one of the two things I had to order. Coffee! So whoever gave me a super chat for a cup of coffee, I just ordered this. It cost a little bit more than going to Costco, but then to rent a car would have cost a lot more too. So I'm gonna be perfectly caffeinated and ready to go for the next couple of weeks, thanks to the espresso. Yeah, they make Costco makes some pretty good coffee beans. I also have another package that's coming today, and one for the anniversary that I ordered in advance because I've got a plan and idea what to do for that. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Just to reiterate, Japan expanded the state of emergency to the entire country because Golden Week holiday is coming up, and we want to make sure that this does not spread any further. Prime Minister Abe looked extremely decisive yesterday. I'm somebody who is always going to be a supporter of the person in power because we want them to do a good job. And yeah, it's hard because you're like, why didn't you do it earlier? And now it's here. So we're very, very happy that we seem to be going in a better direction. There's more testing. They've created little huts that they can do. Each hut can do 50 tests per day, which is not enough, but it's better than what they were doing before. So we're going to see numbers rise in Japan, but we're going to see more people tested. And that's really important, I think, for families and for everybody else out there. Also, I'm going to be doing another video. I don't believe it's going to be live because these live videos don't go online fast enough. It takes 12 hours before they can mix the chat with the video and put that onto YouTube. So this live chat is preserved 12 hours later it takes. If you want to see the playbacks, you have to go into the Tokyo Stay Home Adventures playlist on Only in Japan Go. You can see it right away. Abe no mask is coming today. The government gave us 2 masks per family, and that's coming today. Yesterday they sent it out. It's hitting Setagaya and Minato Ward. There's 23 wards in Tokyo. We're in Chuo Ward, which is the central area near Nihonbashi, and that should be coming today. I'm going to be checking the mailbox. If we get the government mask, I'll probably be making a video about it with Kanai and putting that online as maybe a picture-in-picture or something fun, because I want to see how it compares with the Mikano mask that I got from my friend Mika in Tottori Prefecture. Thank you, Mika. And see if the government, which spent it was like a ridiculous amount of money to send these out to everybody, just 2 per family, how this stands up to the masks that we can make ourselves. I think it's going to be a pretty fun episode. That should be coming today, so I'm really excited about that. This is the time of the live stream where you guys can write in where you're watching from. It's always nice to see because we have an amazing global audience. The Hawaiian, Hawaii Ank. Happy anniversary, guys. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the 21st now. We have these little markers over the next month where we make things to look forward to. And this is one of the things that we have to look forward to. Like we're gonna eat delivery sushi on this day. So it gives us little things to look forward to. I think that's a way to have little goals within your household to make the time go by faster, but also to sort of appreciate when these special days do come. Just like camping day. like I don't get the tent out every day, all right? But when I get the tent out, it's a lot of fun. And you can watch the movie from the tent. You just open it up and it feels like a drive-in movie theater. A lot of people who have never even been there to a drive-in movie theater. But if you do go to a drive-in movie theater, or you have been in one, it kind of feels like that to sit back in your tent, all right? And you open up the side and you look through there and you can see the movie on the screen in front of you. It feels like a drive-in movie theater. If you want to make it feel even more, get a Bluetooth speaker, hook it up to your TV and put that in there. Then it feels like that little drive-in movie theater box that you'd have to put on your window with the really bad audio that would come in. as you look outside to the movie, it feels like it's pretty cool. So we're gonna do, maybe I'll do a drive-in movie theater simulation with you guys over the next next couple of weeks, because it seems like we're gonna be doing inside video live streaming for the next 3 weeks like this. Yeah, Chicago, Milford, Ohio. Look at this. Brisbane, Australia, Pennsylvania, Mars, Puerto Rico, Boston, Colorado. It's great to see everybody's watching from all over the world. Chilling in Florida, Brazil, Bangalore, Sao Paulo, Twin Cities, Chuoku, our neighbor, Karachi, Ventura, Toronto, Osaka, Brazilian living there, San Francisco, Dominican Republic. Look at this. This is wonderful. This is what YouTube does, brings us all together like this so we can share some time together in these dark times. We have a little bit of brightness, which is called Only in Japan Go. And I'll have an announcement next week as well on the state of the channel too. Thanks guys so much for supporting. Another update next week on the direction of Japan. Again, just to reiterate, I think June might be too early. Gamer Pro, thank you. June might be too early to come to Japan, but I think after summer, it might be okay and you'll see some travel deals, but just be aware that it's on the fringe. This is from my feeling. The earliest would be November, but I think it's safe, but you have the other influenza season, so I think it's safe to start planning for next spring. Next spring being like March or April or May, a year from now, is probably the best bet. But adventure seekers and people without families and those who aren't at high risk probably can start to think about maybe autumn. But just keep in mind that the quarantine measures might be in effect until 2021. And this looks better than this lens I use. This is the wide angle lens. I try to use both, it depends. Thanks guys so much for the support. I will see you in a live stream tomorrow. We're gonna try to keep this up every day. Gotta come up with something new and become creative. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Hit the like button and encourage me. I really appreciate it. This also makes sure that you get the notifications on the live stream so you don't miss us, because it's so much more fun. It's so much more fun when it's live. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you, Eric Swanson. I saw that come in. Thank you.